it just spoke to me and said recording in progress. I've never
And
heard
make
that
sure we
before.
all know now.
Yeah, we'll mute.
Well, we are officially starting our snow day service and welcome Sarah and Brad.
Thank you. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Well, darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo doo doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Sun, 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 here it comes. 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 Little darling, I feel the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo, doo, doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. It's all right.
Thank you, Sarah and Brad. Thank you, and good morning to everybody. I'm gonna invite everyone to get into whatever your comfortable prayer position is so that we do an opening prayer and join together spiritually as well as virtually and all the other ease. And so I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you or to find something to put a soft gaze on, focusing in on your breath for just a moment, not doing anything on purpose, but simply paying attention to the natural process that is the divine order, the divine process. As we breathe in and breathe out, releasing ourselves into the right now, present moment. Saying, thank you, God. Thank you for this day exactly like it is, for all the things that go the way that we planned, and for all the things that give us an opportunity to come up with a new plan. We move forward with this day just like it is, calling it whole, perfect, and complete, calling ourselves whole, perfect, and complete. Today is truly magnificent because we choose to call it that and claim that and bring that forward into our view. With that, we let it be well. We let it be so. And so it is, and amen. So now is the time for our call to worship song. And some of you may have noticed that you could hear Sarah and Brad sing, but you didn't hear the music. And that is apparently going to be the case here as well. It's going to sound like I'm doing this a cappella, but I've got music right here for myself. So Chris is bringing the lyrics up. Please sing along and know that you're swinging wide open the doors of the spiritual truth right exactly where you are in your moment. Sing out loud and proud because you're muted on our end. So just sing it loud. All right. No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come, let's share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist, or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone, that there's someone there for you. And as an individualization of divine point of view, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist, or Jew, this door is open to you. Y'all sang great. I could hear your spirit. And with that, I will welcome Maria.
Good morning and welcome home to Unity in Greensboro. Well, I guess today, since we're not looking at a neighbor necessarily, unless you're watching with a loved one there, so I'm going to invite you to type it into the comments what we're going to say today. So repeat after me. Good morning. I love you this morning.
I love you this morning.
And I sure do appreciate you being here.
And I sure do.
So our virtual family, today we are joining you in utilizing what we're going to ask you to do, to type that in the comments, and please help us to spread this loving spiritual community by liking, commenting, and sharing all of our pages and subscribing. Now, we can't hear you, as Wally said, but I am going to invite you to join me in reading the affirmations for the month. So together, my faith is my strength, and I am strong. I choose to place my faith in health, prosperity, and peace. And now we're going to move to Jody, our prayer chaplain for the day.
Good morning. Today I am serving as your virtual prayer chaplain. And so, Holy Spirit, I invite you to join us. If you would like to pray with me after the service, please press the prayer request button. on the website. And if you would like to be included in the prayer list, you can also hit the prayer request button, or you can call the church and leave a message. And that number is 336 273 0944. Prayer works. Together, let's affirm that these loved ones are perfect, whole, and complete. Carol Velez, Suzanne Linez, Roger Stump, Judith Cohen, Joe and Shirley White, Davina Katz, Mary Sue Blackwell, Kim and Jolly Willis, Barry and Sharon Curtis, Amy Tobias Shaw and family, Suki Sir, Michael Milligan, Judy Mitchum, Diane Carr, Tom Eisnagel, Jane Marsh, Lori Christian and family, and the family of David and Amy Weaver. We are standing with them, knowing that no matter what the circumstances of life, God is already working. In partnership with each one to grow through the appearances of challenges. Wherever we are, God is. So let us now go into a time of meditation. Let's take a deep breath. Become comfortable in your chair. I've loved enough. I forgave enough. I was patient enough. I did enough. And I've waited long enough. I can now let go. Letting go isn't to forget. It's not to think about or ignore. It doesn't leave feelings of anger, jealousy, or regret. Letting go isn't winning, and it isn't losing. It's not about pride, and it's not about how you appear. It's not about obsessing or dwelling on the past. Letting go isn't blocking memories or thinking sad thoughts, and doesn't leave emptiness, hurt, or sadness. It's not giving up or giving in. Letting go isn't about loss or defeat. To let go is to cherish memories, overcome, and move on. It's having an open mind and confidence in the future. Letting go is accepting It's learning and experiencing and growing. To let go is to be, to let go is to be thankful for the experiences that made you cry and made you grow. It's about all that you have, all that you had, and all that we'll soon have again. Letting go is having the courage to accept change and the strength to keep moving forward. It's realizing that the heart can sometimes be the most potent remedy. To let go is to open a door, to clear a path, and set you free. When you are ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back.
Now I have the great pleasure of introducing my dear friend, Sarah Strahl. And she has a special guest with her today, Brad Reeves, and I'm going to let her discuss, tell you all about Brad Reeves. Sarah is a vocalist, yoga instructor, and healing arts practitioner in Greensboro, North Carolina. Sarah was a vocal performance major at Greensboro College. She co-founded the music ensemble Certified Organic with Andy Eversole. The group performed a mix of folk, bluegrass, and Americana. Subsequently, during 9 years as part of the band Black and Blue, Sarah expanded her repertoire by singing pop, Motown, and R&B classics all over the East Coast. Currently, Sarah enjoys contributing to new recording projects and appearing with a wide variety of groups. You may find her dancing melodies over big bands like Durham-based North Carolina Revelers Orchestra, jamming out with rock bands, or entrancing spellbound audiences with intimate jazz ensembles, as well as being the featured singer at the O. Henry Jazz on Thursday nights. Now I'm going to let Sarah introduce Brad Reeves. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much. I'm going to tell you that Brad and I are brand new partners. This is the first time that we've performed together. And I've seen Brad off and on over the years. And really, all that I know about Brad is that he has the most beautiful spirit. And he teaches voice lessons and guitar lessons and has collaborated with lots of musicians over the years in the area. He's also a really talented songwriter. Anything else you'd like them to know about you?
I'm basically a Carolina boy from North and South Carolina with some Virginia thrown in.
So, and I'm very grateful that he has joined me. We've had a lot of fun getting these songs ready for you. Well, it's all right, riding around in the breeze. Well, it's all right, living the life you please. Well, it's all right, doing the best you can. Well, it's all right, as long as you lend a hand. You can sit around and wait for the phone to ring
At the end of the line,
waiting for someone to tell you everything.
at the end of the line,
Sit around and wonder what tomorrow brings.
at the end of the line,
Maybe a diamond ring. Well, it's all right, even if they say you're wrong. Well, it's all right, as Sometimes you gotta be strong. Well, it's all right. As long as you got somewhere to lay. Well, it's all right. Every day is Judgment Day. Maybe somewhere down the road away,
At the end of the line,
you'll think of me and wonder where I am these days.
at the end of the line,
Maybe somewhere down the road when someone
at
plays
the end of the line,
Purple Haze. Well, it's all right. Even when push comes to shove, well, it's all right. If you've got someone to love, well, it's all right. Everything will work out fine. Well, it's all right. Going to the end of the line. Don't have to be ashamed of the car I drive.
at the end of the line,
I'm just glad to be here, happy to be alive.
at the end of the line of the line,
It doesn't matter if you're by my side.
at the end of the line,
I'm satisfied. Well, it's all right. Even if you're old and gray, well, it's all right. You still got something to say. Well, it's all right. Remember to live and let live. Well, it's all right. The best you can do is forgive. Well, it's all right. Riding around on the breeze. Well, it's all right. If you live the life you please. Well, it's all right. Even if the sun don't shine. Well, it's all right. We're going to the end of the line.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ah, good morning, everybody, and so glad that you're joining us, and I'm so glad that we have these opportunities to get together in different ways. If there's one thing that we learned during those very challenging times of 2020 and 21 was that when we were blessed with some beautiful snow, that it no longer meant no church. It just meant we could shift and do it from home. There is still something uniquely wonderful about being in the same room with like-minded people, but there's such a blessing also of like when that's not the safest option uh to do this. And it seemed that whether there was snow or ice in the parking lot or not, that it was going to be below freezing temperatures this morning, and why not do it from home and just all stay safe and hopefully warm and comfortable and all of that wonderful stuff. So um and it is all right. It is there's a gospel song my choir used to sing, which was it's already all right. And the chaplains joined me with in a prayer circle this past week with a group from Los Angeles that were praying as the fires, literally one of the fires started just a few minutes before we started. And so we got in there, and one of the things that we really used was it's already all right. Like, let's start claiming our victory in advance. Let's start looking for that in advance. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. And so as I move into the message, I want to I haven't learned how to make this one sing, but I can make it ding. I just can't make it sing yet, but it makes a pretty ding. So I thought this is a way of, and it's really part of the lesson, which is setting about using our spirituality on purpose, intentionally, right? And so this is that intentional moment of just kind of getting aligned and letting music, and I don't know if you'll hear this or not, because so far music is not wanting to come through on Zoom this morning, which is where we that are providing the service are, as you're watching on our website and later on YouTube. But hopefully, let's see. Perhaps you heard that. If not, you saw it and you can hear it in your own brain and make that connection. And that's the lesson too, is like, oh, but that's not how I had it planned. Well, let's find the blessing in what it is and grow from there, right? So our entire year we're looking at living fruitfully and ultimately living prosperously, right? And so where better to look at prosperity examples in the Bible than with Solomon, because Solomon is believed to have been one of the richest kings ever, right? And was believed to have all these treasures. And when I Googled, what was Solomon's treasures, which there are people who have continued to search for, right? They've not been able to find them. And I have my own personal thoughts and some intuition on why that is. But when you Google what were Solomon's treasures, it said mostly silver. That was the big one. Lots and lots and lots of silver, but also gold and tin and iron. But that wasn't Solomon's treasure at all. Just like if you had all of that, that wouldn't be your prosperity at all. That is the after effects of having practiced the prosperity, of having practiced using your treasures and what comes from it, right? Solomon is known for when he first came into power of saying a prayer and God saying, tell me what you want. And instead of asking for the silver and the gold and the tin and the iron, or even a long life, all that kind of stuff, was to say, I need discernment, I need wisdom. And I want to talk more about that. But first, I want to look at how do we get to Solomon? So Solomon's parents were King David, which, everything then branches from David, right? They even, to get to Jesus, it's like he was from the house of David. That David matters. So, and David, you could do certainly a month's worth of lessons on, if not months of lessons just from David, David and Goliath taking down, right? In this case, it was David and Bathsheba who are the parents, and they started having an affair while Bathsheba was married to another man whose name I think you would pronounce it correctly this way, Uriah. And so they have an affair, right? She gets pregnant. They actually lose that baby. But then David's realizing, oh, I can't have her because she's with another man. And, this great man it's important that we lead Jesus to in the Bible, right? Like this great spiritual man. In this moment, he's like, well, but I really want her. And I'm the king and we're at war because kingdoms are always at war, right? In some way. So he sends Uriah to the front line in the battlefield where he knows there's the high likelihood of him getting killed. And he did. And, in so many ways, that is murder, right? So, but what I love about looking at stories in the Old Testament like this is if you just look at it as is, I would avoid that whole book, or that whole section of the big book, because it does feel violent and it feels vengeful and all these things. But when we bring in metaphysics and we're talking about our own thoughts and our own feelings and our consciousness, the study of our consciousness, we're then looking at what thoughts and feelings we're sending out to get rid of because they're not serving us well. In this particular example, it's showing the other. David represents, I'm going to read you these metaphysical definitions from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. David is divine love individualized in human consciousness. Bathsheba is fulfillment, which is uh, she was the seventh daughter, and seven is a number that's known for completion. Um, it says, as David united with Bathsheba, they brought forth Solomon. Solomon became their first son once they were together, right? And so when they brought forth Solomon, so love in its fulfillment or completion establishes peace. And peace then, therefore, is Solomon, right? Uriah, Bathsheba's first husband, uh, represents spiritual illumination. So it sounds like all these beautiful things, and yet this really negative thing happened, right? So when we look metaphysically at this, in this moment, David was working instead of off of divine love, off of ego love, where it's like, no, there's only this one set pie, and I want to make sure I get a slice of it. There's not infinite amounts, right? Whereas in spirituality, there is always enough. There is plenty for everyone. So that lets us know that we're in a moment of like, it's not enough. I need more. I need this. That we're in an ego place, which isn't, ego gets used in insulting ways, right? It's just good to know where we are. Sometimes, like the human nature part of it, and that's what I call ego in so many ways, is the human experience of it. The human experience is really good to have in action if I'm laying my hand on a hot stove or if I'm driving my car down a busy road. Like being fully present in the human experience in that moment is very valuable. In this particular place where we get the emotions involved, when the ego love expressing itself is looking for fulfillment, it sent spiritual illumination off to the side because like, oh no, I can't have that messing up what I got going here. I got this feel good thing. I've got this thing I really want, and I'm going to do whatever it takes, right? That whatever it takes mentality of I'm going to get this done. Except that's where often there are people who are like, oh, I don't go to church. I'm not spiritual because I can't live that pious life, right? It's not pious. The truth is that when we go to God first, when we bring that spiritual nature of ourselves out into our everyday lives, not just on Sunday mornings, but in everything that we're doing, from cooking lunch to praying for a friend, that in those moments, if we will turn to spirit first, yeah, there are things that we might have otherwise done that suddenly we now choose not to do. But that's because our spiritual illumination is letting us know, oh, that's not going to, serve our highest and best. My body has diabetes in it. You could present me with a piece of cake right now that my taste buds are like, oh my gosh, that would be so amazing. That would be so wonderful. But my wisdom lets me know, and my wisdom comes from my spiritual illumination. It's not worth the price of what it will do to your body. It's not worth what the doctor is going to start saying to you when you run the blood work. I can say that one because I got to go get some blood tomorrow for a checkup, right? So it's not, in the very moment, it seems like, oh, this would be the most amazing thing to do. But wisdom allows me to be like, the cost to this feel good moment isn't worth what I believe, what wisdom tells me is most expected on the other end. So let me use that spiritual illumination. So now, like back into the real life of these Bible people, is how did David get from doing this really bad thing, basically committing murder, to being this utmost who we look to, who it's important to link Jesus to, who's considered, the forefront, the front of Christ, of expressing the Christ. How did he get from here to there? That he recognized what he did and he profusely apologized and he acknowledged publicly what he had done wrong in such a way that he was forgiven by God for it. And it's important to take, our lessons on that, not God some outside figure, not God some old man sitting on a cloud somewhere. God, that the very best of us that is within us in action, saying, you're growing, you're learning, you're forgiven, let's move forward in the highest and best ways possible, right? So from there, they had Solomon, and Solomon represents the state of mind that is established in consciousness when the soul is unified with wisdom and love. With wisdom and love. Wisdom and love is what represents Joseph and Mary, the parents of Jesus. And so, and in that place is where we find peace. That's what our metaphysical Bible dictionary definitions give us, right? Is that we're ultimately getting with Solomon peace. Now, when Solomon took over after David died, Solomon was still very, very young. And so the first thing he did was anyone who was in his father's court who he knew was not supportive of him, who he did not feel safe around, he had them executed. Again, from the human level of the story, it's like another murderer, right? But let's turn into our own consciousness studies. When we're stepping forward into a new experience, we have some old thoughts, some old ideas that are not going to serve this new moment, this new place that we're in. And in that place, we need to let them go. We need to release them. We need to kill them, right? We need to kill those ideas and thoughts so that we can be fully present and supportive of the moment that we're stepping into. And in that place, we then support ourselves, our place that we are in, by replacing those old thoughts and ideas with new ones who support where we are right now in the this moment of it. That's a treasure in and of itself. That was Solomon's. But Solomon then went and prayed and offered burnt offerings to God, right? Was in a place of cleansing. That's what burning, when we do the burning bowl, it's a cleansing activity of releasing old thoughts, of releasing old things that are not serving us so that we can move forward. And so when Solomon did that in a dream that night, and I've referenced this recently, often God will come to the people in the Bible just as to us in dreams, as opposed to while we're sitting around talking, because that's when we're least resistant. That's when we're most open to receive the message. And in that time, God came to Solomon and said, what do you want? Anything you want, you ask, I'm here to give it to you. And Solomon said, look, I want to read this whole piece. It says, this comes from 1 Kings 3, 6 through 9. It says, this is God speaking to Solomon. You have shown great kindness. No, I apologize. This is Solomon speaking to God. You have shown great kindness to your servant, my father David, because he was faithful to you and righteous and upright in heart. You have continued the great kindness to him and have given him a son to sit on his throne this very day. Now, Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of my father David, but I am only a little child and do not know how to carry out my duties. Your servant is here among the people you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to count or number. So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong, for who is able to govern this great people of yours? It's a lot of words to do in a streaming service, especially. But I thought it was really important to say in this moment, he's already king, right? He's already got control of the people. They're supposed to do what he says. Although history tells us when kings approach it that way, it doesn't go well for them, right? But many kings do approach it that way. Here was this young man, right? Teenager, who is like, look, I want to make sure I do the best job possible. I want to serve the people. Now, metaphysically and in the study of our consciousness, that's saying, look, from standing right where I am, I want to serve the divine ideas that come to me so that I can make the most of it. I want to serve as opposed to receive. I want to serve. I want to step forward into my yes. And it was at that time that God said, look, you could have asked for a long life. You could have asked for great riches, but you asked for wisdom. So I'm going to give you both. I'm going to give you the wisdom. I'm also going to give you all these great riches that you can use in life. By taking this one piece, by being of an open heart and saying, I want to serve, I want to live my highest and best life, and I want to serve the divine ideas. I want, right? By being open in that place, then the other riches came. So to truly find our treasure is to ask for and accept and use our wisdom, which is different than our intelligence. And intelligence is great. Read all the books you can, learn all the stuff you can, be aware of the community that you live in and how you can help and all of that. But you can serve all of that stronger and better when you start with that open heart of, God, I want to serve. I want to serve this partnership that I live with God and live it in the best way possible, because I know when I do that, I'll also be serving my neighbors, my family, my loved ones, the strangers, just the community at large on this planet. I want to serve and give. But if I go straight to I want to just give to the people, I've got to start by making sure I've got something worth giving. And that comes in the prayer of saying, please give me the wisdom, help me serve in my highest and best way. And in that place comes all the other stuff. The Solomon wisdom story that I'll remind you of was when two women are arguing over a baby, both insisting that it's theirs. And Solomon saying, all right, well, I can't figure out which one of you is telling the truth and which is lying. So let's just cut the baby in half. And the true mother was like, no, 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 she can have her. And that's when Solomon knew, because of wisdom, the one who has true love. See, the other one was like, all right, let's do that. But that would kill the baby, right? So the true mother, the true love, the divine love said, no, take it. And that's when Solomon knew in using the wisdom. Now, I'll say there are stories you can Google. People are still searching, trying to figure out where all of Solomon's treasures got buried. And they've never been able to find them in these thousands of years. And that's, in my opinion, because of this. Because in wisdom, Solomon knew that he had that stuff to use the material stuff while he was living the material life. And in spirit, he didn't need it. I don't believe he ever buried it with him in the first place. A man of his level of wisdom wouldn't have needed that. The kings who rule by ego think they need all the stuff, right? But spiritual in knowing, and what his true treasure was in practicing his spiritual wisdom, which requires continuing to go into prayer and into meditation. Both are important. Prayers where we can kind of talk it out, prayers where we figure out what our desires are, prayers where we talk about what the challenges are, in a way of saying, I'm going to come to the denial of this so that I can get to the affirmation of it. Meditation is in going into that quiet place where we can listen. I want to close with this. As I was going over my notes in the final time last night, yesterday was also my day 7 of the 40-day plan that we're in. And the number 7 affirmation said, the divine consciousness that I am is forever expressing its true nature of abundance. My only responsibility is to be aware of this truth. Therefore, I am totally confident in letting go and letting God appear as the abundant all sufficiency in my life and affairs. I love the divine order that I was on day 7 as I was preparing the notes with Bathsheba who stands for seven as the seventh daughter, as fulfillment. I was on the day of fulfillment. And that information is saying, look, the only thing that I'm responsible to do is continue to make myself aware of the truth that God is forever expressing in abundance in my life. That releases the need to let lack or limitation feelings rule anything. When I stop and say, let me get to wisdom, let me get back into my divine, let me get into the place of knowing that God is already taking care of whatever I think I need in the moment, and not just making the ends meet, but wrapping them round and round and round, right? In abundance, because that's what God does. So in a moment that I feel lack or limitation, I can stop. I can take a breath. I can say, thank you, God. I know that this is not a challenge of having it or not having it. This is a challenge of feeling and seeing and using my blessings, or being in a moment that I feel like I don't have blessings. And in the moment that I don't have blessings is where I can stop and be like, oh, I've gotten trapped into the human experience part, when the spiritual part is always going to serve me better. Let me bring some God into this moment. And when I do that, I'm expressing the true treasure, because peace is the greatest treasure that we could ever have. Peace, love, joy. And we get there. And when we're using that, we have the full treasure. And for that, I love you. I bless you. I behold the Christ that absolutely is you. And I thank you for being here today. Let's go express and use our treasures on purpose together. So thank you. And now is our time to accept love offerings and tithes. Now, when we're virtual and everybody is at home, it becomes, we generally receive more when people are in person. So I invite you to think of this service as being in person, and to support the ministry in all the ways that you possibly can, both with time and talent and treasure. And Chris has up for us all the different ways that you can do that. You can Venmo, it comes straight through without any fees attached to it, or you can click on the give button that's right there on the website where you're watching, and if you're watching live. And if you're on YouTube, you can go to unityiingreensboro.org and then click the give button and support the ministry that way. You're going to get more information as we move forward, and the annual meeting is postponed, but we finished the year in the black. So congratulations to all of you. Unity in Greensboro squeaked out at the very end. I say squeaked because we spent a lot of the year in the red, but together we came together, and we paid all the bills of everything that we spent to run our church. And I thank you all for that. So I'm going to skip the song and just go into inviting everyone to say this affirmation together. And I invite you to place your hands on your heart during this time, so that you just cook up a little bit of this extra divine love we're about to talk about. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. And I am grateful for you all. And I'm going to turn it back over to Maria. Thank you.
So in continuing, hang on, let me unpin Wally. Not that I don't enjoy looking at his lovely face. Okay, there we go. In continuing on the conversation that Wally was going, this is not in my announcements, Wally, I'm just going to add it myself. So I have committed to doing the Abundance Book, the 40-day program with Wally. If you have not joined yet, it's not too late. I too was supposed to be on day 7 yesterday, and I got involved in another book that I failed to do it. I was laying in bed, going to sleep, and I was like, oh, I didn't do my. So I'm starting over today, because in order to make this commitment, according to what it says in the book, it takes your mental, your spiritual self 40 days of commitment And since I missed my 1 day of commitment, I'm starting over. So Wally offers a check-in, not a mandatory, but a check-in if you want support on Tuesdays at 6:30 and Wednesdays at 1:30. So if you choose to join us in the Abundance Book, the 40 Days of Prosperity, we invite you
It
to join. Oops, where's my
just one correction. The Wednesday check-in is at 1 p.m., not 1:30. So
okay.
it's 6:30 on Tuesday nights or 1 p.m. on Wednesday afternoons.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Wally. So if you are a first-time visitor joining us here virtually, we invite you to type something in the comments to introduce yourself and give us your information, a phone number, an email, so that we can send you a welcome packet. And we would like to keep you informed of all the exciting activities that we have going on here at our community. And we thank you for being here. So as Wally said, the Unity in Greensboro member meeting was scheduled for today. It has now been postponed to Sunday, February 2nd. So please, anyone who has already signed up to be a member for the year, we invite you to join us on February 2nd for our annual meeting. We're having a virtual meditation this Wednesday with Jody McKinley, January 15th at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom only. We are in need of stamps. I don't even know how much they've gone up to now, but that's just one way. If you've got a little extra this week or at some time in the future, pick up an extra pack of stamps and provide them to the church so that we can continue to mail out things that are necessary to keep a business going. Join us for the Winter Family Kickoff, a fun and informative open house event on Sunday, January 26th at 12 noon. This public event is your chance to explore all the exciting youth and family programs coming in 2025 at Unity in Greensboro. And we invite you to invite other friends that have families that could use a community of family support. On Monday, January 27th at 7 p.m., UIG will be co-hosting a concert with the PCOC, Flamey Grant. Flamey Grant is an award-winning and Billboard charting, shame-slaying, hip-swaying, singing, songwriting drag queen from Asheville, North Carolina. Tickets are $25, and this is a chance for us to introduce ourselves as a church to people who don't know there's a church ready to welcome them in as they are. Remember that you are the best marketing we have. Please help us fill the sanctuary downstairs. Let our chaplains pray with you after service. As Jody already mentioned, you can put something in the comments. Click on our website, prayer request, and a prayer chaplain will be in touch with you to pray with you for whatever you may be growing through. Now
And Maria, I just want to add to that because we're virtual today. We will make sure to check it more today than we normally would on a Sunday afternoon. We'll look at the emails and check the voicemail later this afternoon and this evening in case someone really wants a chaplain to be in touch with them today. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally. Now we get the pleasure of hearing from Sarah and Brad again.
Love, 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 love. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Love, 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 love. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. Nothing you can know that isn't known. Nothing you can see that isn't shown. There's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. 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 Thank you. I hope some of you sang along.
Love is exactly what we need. Thank you so much, Sarah and Brad, and thanks for pushing through as we had some technical challenges today, but the challenges just help us climb higher and exercise that. And so thank you both for being here and offering the gift of music. And thank everyone who's participated in service, as including everyone who's watching virtually and talking on the chat right now. I've tried to have that signed on when I'm not talking, and so thanks to everybody for everything, right? And go out this week and use your treasures on purpose, your treasure of wisdom, your treasure of love and peace and joy. Find that, figure out how to serve that, and then we're living our best lives and truly using our treasures. Now, next week, I have been working on getting the church in New York City to book me as a guest speaker for about 6 years, 7 years, and I'm going to be there next Sunday at the Unity Center of New York City. And I'm going to give them the lesson that I gave you all today. And you all will receive the great gift of both message and music from Reverend Tanya Ross. And Tanya's lesson next week is called I Am is the Power to Choose. Speak wisely. So please join us for that and invite people to come back in person for that. And if you have not filled out your 2025 membership form yet, check the Tuesday e-blast. If for some reason you're not getting that, let me know and we'll get that to you. And our annual business meeting will be 3 Sundays from now, the first Sunday of February after service. So thanks and join us for that as well. So let's close out with all of us saying together the prayer for protection. And we will let peace live within us without singing another song, without music today. So together, let us say, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, love is, peace is, light is, God is, and all is well. Go have a beautiful week and be beautiful on purpose because you already are. Take care.